Okay, so today I thought I would just do a math video, just a real basic, super easy one, because for whatever reason, nobody else uses calculators at all, ever. And they feel like it's just easier to ask questions and email. As a matter of fact, it takes longer to email a question about this than it took in GPT-4 to do all of the math for all of this, propagating out 10 years. But I know that no one wants to do that because that would take 34 seconds of their life. So since none of you want to take 34 seconds and you'd rather burn 20 minutes, by all means, let's burn 20 minutes talking about Hypercycle node license basic math. Right. Okay, so the first thing that we get a lot of questions, and that is, if I have a single node license, how much money I'm going to make. And so there's a couple of weak assumptions that we need to throw out. I will show you the math, and then I will explain my weak assumptions. Okay, get this banner off of here. We don't need it. So this is based on one node license with 1,024 tokens per license. For the sake of this discussion, it doesn't matter what the value of the token is. It doesn't matter if the price of Hypercycle is $1 or $140,000 per token. Makes no difference. We're trying to figure out what participating in the Hypercycle compute ecosystem is going to mean as far as return on investment, right? And remember that Hypercycle, if you're participating on the business level, you have a license. Each license has 1,024 Hypercycle tokens. They're married together, and it spits out a bundle of assets. S tokens and R tokens and native Hypercycle tokens and what have you. You may run on your own hardware, or you might point them somewhere else and use someone else's hardware, and then there's some kind of profit sharing agreement. But assuming you were just doing this on your own, we want to get as many assumptions off to the sidelines as possible so we can have some kind of, loose concreteness in our thought. So one license, okay, 1,024 tokens, okay. We're basing this off of a 10 cent US dollar, 10 cent return per node license per day, right? So you're going to see in the columns in front of you the licenses, the number of splits, and splits probably not an appropriate word, but as much as I've been pushing it, no one seems to like the term mitosis. So divisions is probably also good, but colloquially splits. That can happen every 6 to say 12 months. If you have great uptime and a lot of reliability and liveness, and you're never unplugging your system, it's never shutting down, it's always on, it's always functioning, you're always taking tasks, you're going to probably be closer to that 6-month mark. If there is some less amount of reliability, you're going to be pushing out on the curve over towards the 12-month mark. But for everyone that stays participating in this ecosystem, they will reach those splits. It will happen. So the timeline is the thing that depends a lot on factors outside of all of our control. So in this case, I also did amount of tokens per license, because as these divisions occur, as you may or may not know, each license would go from 1 to 2, and that one that had 1,024 tokens would then have 512 in each new license. And then upon the next division, you would then have 4, and each of those 4 would have 256 tokens per license, all the way down 10 divisions out, which leaves you 1,024 licenses after 10 splits or divisions, each possessing 1 token. That's the minimum that you can have, because it takes the native Hypercycle token to wrap packets of data and push them, and that's how a transaction is formed. Okay. And again, this is a very non-technical kind of a how much money can I put in my pocket, bro, discussion. So with that in mind, I'm just going to go right through this very easy. One license. I'm also going to talk about something else after this. We know many of you have purchased your license through Node Market or Power Trade It, or one way or another through Digital Investor. Okay, great. If you've done that, then you may be, well, many of you have been gaining traction as far as tilling. But on the other side of it, many of you purchase multiple nodes. The most common selling node bundle is 8 licenses. So I'm going to go through this exact same math for the many of you that have an 8 node license bundle. But anyway, first things first, let's imagine over the next 5 to 10 years, right? 60 to 120 months. I mean, that's not that long. I've got car leases towards the 60 month end. So it's not horrible to think about. And remember, you need to segment this in your mind. Running Hypercycle node licenses together with tokens and into the compute ecosystem, that's running a business. All right. This isn't gambling on token prices. We really don't care about the price of the token. Yeah, it's cool if it goes up, but number go up, number go down, it doesn't mean anything because this is a true utility token, not like most of the other spammy bullshit that's out there. You actually need the token to do transactions. So it checks the box of use utility. Then the question is, will there be wide scale adoption? Well, there doesn't need to be wide scale adoption for everybody to experience these returns because these are the low end of the spectrum. Now, I would caveat this. 6 months from now, when we're looking back on how compute rolled out, in the early days of compute, no one knows what the day-to-day vacillations in compute are going to do as far as daily returns. So again, we're just making an estimation. I know some people are saying $2 a day, $5 a day, all this stuff. Well, to me, 10 cents a day is a fair and conservative assumption. It is loose and sloppy and weak, but to me, it makes more sense than this other pie in the sky stuff. So we will look back 6 months from now and see how close we were. 1 license, 0 splits, meaning you just began. Let's say we're compute era for you as a new entrant into the space. You've married 1,024 tokens. Your daily return is 10 cents. You have, again, 1 license. With 1,024 tokens, you're getting 10 cents a day. Your yearly return, $36.50. You're like, well, that doesn't sound that exciting. Well, that's not exciting, and it's not super exciting. It actually is not much less than Fed funds, depending on where you bought, how you bought your license, and how you bought your tokens. For people that got tokens at 10 cents, it's a great return. For people that bought tokens at $1.15, it's not as great a return, but it's not terrible. It's not 0. You get a split or division. You now have 2 licenses, 512 tokens each. You're getting 20 cents a day. And remember, you've done nothing but participate. You may have scaled into new equipment, but there are a lot of variables here that could increase your net return. Most of the variables would not detract, they would increase. So I really think this is a floor number, but 2 licenses, 512 tokens each license, right? 20 cents per day is your return, $73 a year. You have another division. So we're 18 to 36 months out. Now you have 8 licenses, which by the way is the most popular bundle. And those that are in the 8 license category that you would start, this is where you would start. You're 3 splits in. Each one of those 8 licenses has 128 Hypercycle tokens each, unless of course you start with 8, in which case it would be 8 of 1,024. Again, we'll go through those examples. You now are making 80 cents per day, $292 per year. Next split or division, you go to 16. That's split number 4. You're at 64 tokens per license, $1.60 per day, $584 per year, which a lot of people still like, well, that's not much. Yeah, but you haven't invested much, right? And again, this low ball numbers. It's always best to set your expectations incredibly low. Next split number 5, 32 licenses now, each holding 32 tokens, $3.20 a day, $1,168 a year. Now it's not terrible. Now it's starting to look like something. Next split number 6, 64 licenses, 16 tokens per license. You're at $6.40 a day. you're at $2,336 a year, $2,300. Not bad. Next split takes you to 128 licenses. This is split number 7. You're possessing 8 tokens per license. Yes, makes sense. Good. You're earning $12.80 a day. Remember, started with 1. This is just a normal propagation over time. You haven't done anything but perhaps redirect your equipment or use newer hardware or utilize other hardware. You're making $4,672 a year. Next split, which is split number 8, you have 256 licenses. 256 licenses, 4 tokens per license. You're making $25 and change a day. That puts you at $9,344 a year. Next split, split number 9, puts you at 512 licenses, each possessing 2 tokens. It's $51.20 a day, $18,688 a year. Your final split, this is 10 in. This is anywhere from the 60 months to 120 months. You're at 1,024 tokens. It's still the same 1,024 tokens, but it's now distributed 1 token per license. You're making $102.40 a day. And again, this is at 10 cents per license per day. You're making $102.40 a day, or $37,360. And so those of you that are like, yeah, but I really think that these things are going to be returning $1 a day. I think AI is going to be in demand. I think it could be $2 a day. Okay, great. Just change it. Just move the decimal over 1 and times it by 1 or 2. Right? If you think it's $1, just move the decimal to the right. So your yearly returns would be $365, $730, $1,460, $2,920, $5,840, $11,680, $23,360, $46,720, $93,440, $186,880, or $373,760. Got it? Sweet. All right, because math. Now, just to show what it would look like for the 8-node bundle, which again, the reason I bring this up is this is the most popular bundle, so I thought it was worth talking about. So the 8-node bundle math is as shows. I'll go through it. This is going to be a little bit quicker. Okay, you can see it. So for those of you that are driving and you're considering looking at your phone, don't. Driving into oncoming traffic is counterproductive. So we start with an 8 license bundle. How many tokens per license? 1,024. I mean, you can do the math. 8 times 1,024 is what your initial investment is. But essentially, it matters not, because that's a starting point. One or two splits in, that initial investment is pretty much a fractional, like a rounding error. Anyway, 8-node license bundle. You have 8 licenses. Tokens per license is still 1,024 per license. Your daily return is 80 cents, $292 a year. Okay, so that's what you 8-node bundle holders at the bottom end can probably expect. We don't know what we don't know, but this is what you could probably expect. Split number 1, 16 licenses, 512 tokens per license, $1.60 a day, $584 a year. And now we're going to speed things up. Split number 2, 32 licenses, you're at $1,168 a year. Split number 3, 64 licenses, $2,336 a year. Split number 4, 128 licenses. Remember, you started at an 8-node bundle. 64 tokens per license still holds. Nothing changes there. You just have more licenses. You're making $4,672 a year. Next split, number 5, 256 licenses total. You're making $9,344 a year. Split number 6, 512 licenses, 16 tokens per license. You're bringing in $18,688 per year. Split number 7, 1,024 licenses, 8 tokens per license. You're making $37,376 per year. 8 splits, 2,048 licenses. So now the numbers get big. 4 tokens per license. You're making $74,752 per year, which, by the way, is higher than the aggregate American income. The median income, $54,000 last time I checked. So you're now almost 50% higher than the average American, the top percent. Anyway, split number 9. This is when the proverbial shit gets real. Split number 9, you have 4,096 licenses. You have 2 tokens per license. You're bringing in $149,504 a year. And split number 10, you have 8,192 licenses, all possessing 1 token each. Remember, that's the minimum per license. You're making $299,000. Let's call it an even $300,000 per year. 300 racks off of an 8-node bundle. So I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm not telling anyone anything. Just math, because math. This is at 10 cents. If you want to get stupid, sometimes it's cool to get stupid. I'm stupid most times. You could imagine, what would this mean at $1? Well, at $1, your opening year or 6 months would be $2,920 a year. Your first split, $5,840. Your second split, $11,680. Your third split, $23,360 per year. Fourth split, $46,720. Fifth split, $93,440. Sixth split, $186,880. Seventh split, $373,760. If anybody, look, man, if anybody here thinks $373,760 a year is not enough, I gotta borrow money from you or something like that. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, no matter who you ask. And I would say that's where you go from money to life-changing money. Remember, financial happiness is having an extra $10,000 a month in your pocket after everything's paid, taxes, bills, everything. So, I mean, do some life math. If $373,000 a year doesn't get you there, it might be time to tighten the belt, go read about austerity, and quit spending money like an idiot. Okay. Split number 8, you're looking at $747,520 a year. Now you can just be a jackass. Split number 9, you're looking at $1,495,000 a year. 1.5 million a year. 1.5 million a year at $1. At $1 per license per day. And then split number 10, you're racking about $3 million a year on an 8-node bundle at $1 a day. And remember, just because this whole ecosystem starts out at maybe 8, 10, 15, 35 cents a day, the whole world needs compute. The whole world needs AI compute. That's, in my opinion, going to happen more than less. So these numbers are likely to become drastically increasing based on drastic demand. But we'll see. That's the beauty of it. We will know the answer to these things in the next 9 to 12 months. So that's the math. It's pretty basic. That's why, we said, Hypercycle, node license, basic math. If anybody watched this video and they don't think that $300K a year, or say, $3 million a year extra wouldn't demonstrably change their situation, leave a comment down below saying, "I'm rich, bro," and then leave your email, and I need to set up some bridge loans. Thank you. I need low rates. All right. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything my poor, insolvent, drunk, strung out on meth grandmother wouldn't do, which is very little. And we will see you guys in the next one.